Pledge allegiance to
the
the
flag
flag
of the United States of America, and one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Okay, first up, we have the public session. We have Jesse Oakley. Hi, Jesse.
Hi. I'm here today because my mom came in a month ago. You guys said you'd get back to her, you never did. You guys had me enrolled in this school. I have not been in this school or attended anything in 3 years for the school. I was kicked out in the middle of, was it 2019, right? I think, yeah, 2019. I went off to Warren Street and they closed down because they couldn't afford to stay open. And you guys would not accept me back. So I'm here because I need you guys to release me from the school. I am 17 years old and I don't want to attend this school just as much as this school doesn't want me to be here. It doesn't hurt me at all. I could care less. You guys are withholding me from getting any type of GED. You guys are withholding me from getting a full-time job, which I need for personal purposes, because everybody needs a job. And I can't get a job if you guys don't release me. I have 2 jobs I could be up for, but I can't get them unless I have my full, like, availability. And if I'm enrolled in a public school, I am still on school hours legally, so I cannot work a full-time shift, which I find is unfair to me and unfair to just everything else, because you guys should not have a student enrolled if they have not attended the school in well over 3 years. So what can we do about that? Because I really just want to be done with this whole thing.
So Jesse, this is what I'll say. So no one got back to you from last month. Is that correct, Mom?
Correct.
My name's up
You heard
next.
you've got no notification from anyone here at the school district? No one
No,
called?
No,
No phone calls, no emails, no text
Alright.
messages, nothing. Everybody
Not a
has.
problem. Second of all, some of the things you're saying, I mean, and I don't know everything, but some of the things that you're saying, I don't think seem that they're correct. So you may want to research some of that information. That's just what from me personally, from what I know. So that's, but we will have someone get back to you this time, I promise you.
We're not leaving until we get something, an answer. I just want a paper.
This is a
written-
business meeting, so yes, you will not get an answer tonight. You will get a phone call, I promise you, someone from the school will call you, but you will not get an answer tonight.
And why is that? I mean,
Because
I was
it has
supposed-
to be investigated by us.
I
Here
was
at the
here-
school district, you standing before us, you've said, you've made your piece, we're done now. You've extended your 3 minutes. Someone from the school district, I promise you, will get back to you. All right,
can I just ask one more question?
sure.
If I were still enrolled in this school, why was I not sent any schedule or anything for this year?
So again, it's nothing that I can answer that question. Someone will get back to you. I promise you, someone will call you and we will try to help you with whatever it is that you need help with, okay?
Okay, well, I'd like it to be as soon as possible,
Sure,
because I just want this to be done and over with
okay,
immediately.
It's been a month
I understand.
and
It's been years,
Okay, all
so.
right, thank you. Next up, Jean Slater.
that would be me.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. I just want this to be done. I'm tired of dealing with the school time and time again. It's been a month and somebody's supposed to get back to me, nobody has. It's getting just ridiculous that I have to keep coming back to the school time and time again, and I get nothing for the last 3-4 years. No answers for anything. I mean, my kid can't even get on the school website for a school tool or anything, so what? I just don't understand why this school has to drag stuff out and push stuff under the rug all the time. It just makes no sense to me.
I promise you someone will get back to you. And I apologize that no one got back to you last month, but someone will get back to you this time. I
Well,
promise you.
Then on that note, if I don't hear nothing back within this next month, I'm going up higher. I'm going to the New York State Board of Education,
Okay,
and I'm gonna get a lawyer because it's out of hand. I've had it, I've had it. I can't deal with this anymore.
okay. We hear you. All I can tell you is I will make sure someone gets back to you. Okay?
I mean, if you need my number, I'll happy to give it to you again, but I mean, the only calls that I get is, oh, we're on a 2-hour delay or the school's closed.
Actually, you can leave me your phone number. Thank you.
Where can I write that down for you?
Before you leave, you can write it on this piece of paper that I have here, okay? All right. Next up, we have Shayna Smith.
Well, good evening. I wanted to share some positive things that have been happening over the last month. The student newspaper was created by Mrs. Antonia Van Ness, high school journalism class. Journalism is an English elective offered to students in grades 9 through
This?
12. Yep, the
This
Tribune.
was beautifully
It
done.
is.
Beautifully done.
Journalism is a course designed for students to equip learners with a basic understanding of journalism and newspaper writing techniques. The class consists of students who started the year with varying levels of writing experience. In addition to teaching the class about the fundamentals of journalism, Mrs. Van Ness works with each student as they conduct research, interview primary sources, outline their ideas, draft and develop engaging writing, and revise their work. One of the best parts of the class is that students write with an authentic purpose and for an audience. It puts the writing, reading, speaking, and listening skills developed through the English language arts curriculum into a real-world context. It's also wonderful to see the students develop the real-world skills of interviewing people they may not already be familiar with personally. It takes courage and hard work to be a successful journalist, and through this course, Mrs. Van Ness is incredibly proud to see her students rising to the occasion. We hope you enjoy, or really, I'm saying this on behalf of Mrs. Van Ness, as she just hopes that you guys really enjoy this edition. And they are already working on this spring's edition. In addition to this, some additional good news is before the December break, Ms. Bentley and her students in the Foreign Language Club had an international gingerbread house competition in which 5 groups of students designed internationally themed gingerbread houses. The houses were photographed and 99 members of the faculty and staff helped to choose the winning group by voting for their favorite house and uniforms.
Cool.
I'm aware that after last month's meeting, the Board of Ed asked that I provide solutions to the issues that I continue to bring up. Thank you for this gift. So the Taconic Hills Executive Board will be working with several teacher leaders. There's probably about a group between 25 and 30 of us in the district to develop some of these solutions, as we would like to have as many stakeholders involved as possible. I hope when these solutions are presented to you, you are willing to consider some of them. We still continue to have a huge shortage of substitutes, and I would again like to thank my coworkers for all of their help covering classes internally day after day. Taking on the responsibility of covering classes for coworkers adds additional burdens and stress to our already hectic schedules. By not having to pay substitutes, covering classes internally saves the district a large sum of money each year. In December, the district had posted 2 job vacancies to help hire full-time permanent substitutes. We do think that this was a good effort. Unfortunately, they haven't been filled yet, but we do think that this is a good something.
It's going on
moving forward.
everywhere, so
Yes,
unfortunately.
of course. And as a reminder, one solution the THFA had proposed at a previous Board of Ed meeting was to provide compensation for the teachers that are providing substitute coverage. Please take this into consideration, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shayna.
Thank you. We're going on one second.
Write your number on that paper right there. Thank you. All right. I need a motion for the acceptance of the agenda, please. Motion, Joe, second, Ron. Any questions about the agenda? All in favor? I'm gonna turn you up now, Dave, because you were echoing before. Okay, there you go. I hear you. Okay. Next up, I need a motion for the acceptance of the consensus agenda. Motion, please. Bill, second. Jeff? Any questions on that? Yeah. Okay. Dave, do you have any questions on the consensus agenda? You're good.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. All right, all in favor? All right, we have reports. The reports tonight are from, so Dr. Neil Howard isn't here tonight. He's at the ski slopes with the ski team. So are you going to be given a report or someone?
No, I have some other.
Okay, no report. Okay. Next up is buildings and departments. We have the elementary school, Darby Williams.
Hi, Mary and I wanted to publicly thank the knitting club of the Hudson Valley. They recently donated $2,000 to the regional food bank that is designated to support the town of Hills Elementary School backpack program. So we wanted to thank them for that. We also wanted to thank the buildings and ground staff, the faculty and staff in the elementary school, as well as the IT department, for all the help that they gave us last Wednesday morning when we had that water to deal with. Last thing, we're starting to get some of our new furniture into our library. It's morphing as we speak. So you guys want to definitely stop down at some point and check that out.
An elementary, right? The
Yep.
new area there.
You got it. Thank you.
Nice, thanks, Darby.
Can I mention now about the knit club, about the Valley, because
Sure.
this is probably a good segue. I approached some of the ladies that are the members, and they expressed interest in working with some of the kids during the library time. Because there's a bunch of girls that apparently are very interested in knitting. So I was just wondering how to hook them up with.
Oh, I think that was in the high school.
Yeah,
too.
that
That
was
was
the high
Tanya. That was Tanya.
That was
Tanya
the-
Frischy. That was the high school kids.
Oh, okay. So, but anyway, because they're interested in, and most of them, I think, are retired, so they're available during the day. The other thing was Renee Beeman is, I think, a former graduate of Taconic Hill, that she teaches. She's got a doctorate in something or other, but she's a big crafter. And she offered to do a workshop on a weekend for the kids to teach them knitting and, some other craft
So I was
skills.
gonna talk later on that,
Okay. Oh, okay.
additional items to discuss, because there is an avenue that.
Oh, okay, great.
For her.
Okay.
To do something like
So
that.
that's a really good connection with the knit club and the school.
Or maybe, Jim, you could maybe let.
Yeah, I
Tanya
can,
know.
I can have time to get a hold of you, Terry. just
Perfect.
to Coordinate with it.
Thank
Great.
you. All right, next up, we have Jim Burmaster, the high school. Hi, Jim.
Hi, so it's been a bit of a crazy last month as the COVID cases have ticked up around the country and in our school. And I just wanted to update you on some of the things that we're dealing with on that and how resilient our staff and our students have been on it. When we came back from break, I really had some fears that the attendance was going to be horrible on that first day back from the December break. And shockingly to many of us, our attendance in the high school was nearly 90% on that day. And we haven't maintained that level the entire time because we've had a lot of students that have been on quarantine. But this has not had a drastic effect on our attendance. It's nice to see that the kids and the families and the teachers and everybody are being resilient and understanding the value of being here in person. That's where we want them. We'll do whatever we can to make things as safe as possible and keep kids coming here. Our nurses in the high school and in the elementary school, they're dealing with changing rules every day from the health department and the CDC and Lord knows who else kicks in on these things. They're doing a job that they didn't sign up for, but they're doing an incredible job of that. Not just working with the students, but consulting with the health department and working with all the parents, trying to explain the rules and deal with angry people and people that don't understand.
Because they change daily.
Sure, they changed again today, and I'm pretty sure they'll change again tomorrow.
Terrible.
But, change is part
I
of
know.
education, it's part of our life, so it's, we just have to keep rolling with the punches, but I just really, they're not here, but we try and thank them all the time, but our nurses are really doing a great job in keeping up with things.
Thank you, Jen. Next up, Sandra Gardner.
So, I'm really proud to announce that we have two of our science research students who applied for competition, selected to go on. They will be presenting at the Rojan Library this Friday night. So hope to see many of you there Friday night when we have the students do their trial run. Shared decision making, our semester meeting is next Thursday. I know that you and Alicia are going to come, so thank you. And everybody is welcome. And, that's a time for buildings to report out on things that they're doing, as well as if we want to discuss any district initiatives that we would like to have. That's a good time for the community to.
When is this? I'm sorry.
Next Thursday. And that's a great time for any community members to come and voice their thoughts too. So please encourage anybody to come that is interested. We have also sent you an email in regards to our chemistry program, and we would like to put in front of the board next month a proposal from the science department to move from AP Chem, which we got to get off the books, but we would like to add chemistry 101 because we feel we have a group of students this coming year that would be beneficial for. I believe you had the email where I gave some of the bullet points. So I'd like to move ahead with the department working on that and have them present to you next month about that. And then finally, we have been working along with our learners training. Nothing is as wonderful for me to experience as to go to a PD section that's led by one of our teachers and have such a collaborative group to interact with as I had last night. We used the new furniture in the library, in the elementary library, which had more that feel of moving around, the graciousness of all the teachers towards each other and the learners that they wanted to be. It just was thrilling. It's the type of thing that sends shivers down my back. So just thank you for supporting the learners program. Thank you for supporting the leadership coach. That was Kristen Phillips that led that session. And I'm just really appreciative of all that. So thank you.
What time is this? Doesn't say on here.
Friday night.
Yeah, what time?
Oh, 6 o'clock, I think, but let me double check. And make sure.
No, I look.
Am I missing something? Yeah, okay, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's not on the flyer.
Okay, let me double check and I'll make sure that gets out, but 6 o'clock is what I'm remembering.
Okay.
I want to say thank you for coming up with a solution for that chemistry, so. thank
Oh,
you.
you're welcome.
That's great, yeah.
Okay, next up, Business Office of the Howard.
I just wanted to point out the refunding bond resolution in your agenda packet tonight. We have talked about that over the last couple of months. So that is essentially a refinancing of the district's mortgage on this building and the campus. We have about $8 million left to pay through the year 2027. And with rates as favorable as they are right now, it should save us approximately $450,000 over the remainder of the term, the bond term. So it's a long resolution, contains a lot of legal jargon, but that is essentially what it is. The original bonds were financed in 1999. I think there were multiple bonds at that time. We did refund them in 2012, saved quite a bit of money at that time. So this will probably be our last time, and then the debt on this building will be paid off in 2027.
So it's sort of like a remortgage.
Exactly, just a straight refinance, no extension of terms, no additional debt or anything. The market for interest rates has declined a little bit in terms of favorability, but we still believe we could save almost about 5% of what's left on the principal. So it's worth it, definitely worth it. And then usually this meeting every year, we talk about state aid. Ashley, can you pull up the website, the budget and voting section of the website? Because I did add the state aid runs. I know Neil did send those to you today, but I just wanted to go through them with you quickly. Governor Hochul in her budget presentation has promised a minimum of an additional 3% more foundation aid to school districts in New York State. And to continue the whole concept of restoring funding for historically underfunded school districts, that's not us. So if you scroll down, we'll go to section 11, I believe, 11A. Yeah, right there. Not in here, right? There we go. Okay, so just wanted to point out a few things. On the left side of this chart, this is the state aid that we will be receiving this year. Now, it never matches where we landed in May around budget time, because as you know, a lot of these aids are expense-based. So they're funded the following year based on whatever we spent in the previous year. The biggest change that we're seeing from May to now is the decrease in transportation aid right here. We were expecting about $819,000 in transportation aid, but you may recall that last spring, Rick and I reported to you that we had to redo our ST3 filing because the state decided not to give us transportation aid on salaries and benefits that we paid to staff between May and June of 2020, after the decision was made to pause for the remainder of the year. So that is the value of the reduction. So that's a little bit of a hit, but knowing that that could happen in terms of estimating for next year, 22-23, Rick and I were a little bit conservative in estimating what our expenses would be. So we didn't want to see a big bubble for those amounts year to year. So that amount you can see even into 22-23. I think that's a little low, and I expect that to bump up just a little bit. But BOCES aid, hardware and technology we don't get because we are a wealthy district. Software, high cost excess and private excess costs are all expense-based aids based on money that we spend in the prior year for students and services. And then building aid is what we receive on all of our debt service for capital projects. So for next year, the biggest piece of information and most important piece of information is the foundation aid. And you can see that she is projecting that we could see a 3% increase in foundation aid for next year. This is just an executive proposal. So it goes to the legislature now to begin their negotiations process. And I don't anticipate that we'll get an update until late March, sometimes the 1st of April. But this is the information that I will use moving forward in the budget process. So we did get approximately $200,000 more this year that we weren't expecting. So that is nice to know that, you know, we are going to see that. Usually this is what, 25,000, 40,000 annually for us. It's very, very nominal. So does anyone have any questions about early runs?
So the extra money that we get for foundation aid, can we move it around?
Well, essentially, that is what is used to fund next year's budget.
So the transportation aid, the decreases in that, we can.
Absolutely, we'll figure out a way to absorb that for sure.
So we don't get any aid for hardware and technology because we're a wealthy school district.
We are a land wealthy school district.
Oh.
Land well.
Somebody needs to change that.
And then the only other piece of information I have is, in case you didn't see it, the CPI was finalized at 4.7%. for the purposes of calculating the tax cap formula. So our base will be 2%. It's CPI or 2%, whichever is less. So we'll be using 2% moving forward. The refunding of the bonds does have some budget implications because of the potential interest that we're going to save. I can't account for that at this point until that refinancing goes through, just in case, the market is not favorable at that time. And then also it plays a role in the exclusion section of the formula for the tax cap. So those are all building blocks that we'll work on in the next month and a half or so. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions?
What is the high cost? Says cost in?
That is for special education services.
Okay, next up, we have Stella Ritter.
That was a great segue, thanks. We're moving into annual review season, and it's difficult as COVID has been on the school. It has been a bonus in terms of parent participation in special education meetings. We know what we don't have the meetings in person, we're doing everything Zoom. And our participation rate with families has gone from about 60% to 85%. So wonderful participation, and I expect that to continue.
Unfortunately, Zoom's gonna be into our daily lives. It does. Is that it, Stella? Okay, thank you very much. Buildings and grounds, Nick, I know he's not here, but still, you have his report.
Yes, I do have his report, and we have some photographs from the damage of the different offices and spaces. And I'll just read this to you. He sent it to me today. The heating coil on the air handler unit that serves the elementary office froze and broke in multiple places. The break was discovered at 5:45 a.m. last Wednesday, January 12th. At the time the break was discovered, water was flowing from the third floor mechanical room down to second floor classrooms and corridors. The water then continued to flow to the first floor elementary office, atrium, and E102 classroom. All available staff were mobilized for the water cleanup in all of the affected areas. Maintenance staff repiped the hot water to the chilled water coil as a temporary solution to get heat back up and running in the office spaces. No other areas were affected as far as heating is concerned. We contacted a moisture mitigation company on Monday. They will be back tomorrow to take moisture readings, remove wet material as needed from the affected areas. Upon initial inspection, they believe we sufficiently dried up the areas that were impacted. However, they will still take readings and double check everything while they are here. We will then proceed with getting quotes for replacement of drywall, suspended ceiling repairs of the impacted spaces. And we do have a $5,000 deductible for losses like this. We will easily hit that. So he and I are both in contact with the insurance company. We've inventoried the losses. There are a few technology losses. In some of the one classroom specifically, the classroom teacher brought me what was lost in her room. We'll get all of that replaced. May just take a little bit of time, but we will keep working on that.
Has this ever happened before?
Not that we have had a sprinkler head burst once, and that was in a stairwell, I believe, which caused a
There
waterfall.
was a large water break in Katie Dirk's classroom last year as well.
So this stemmed from the third floor,
Yes,
frozen pipe?
yes. I know Nick was here for several hours Saturday morning because it got so cold again. We were worried that there would be additional damage, but everything was fine.
You know if they found out how it froze? I know, obviously, it's been cold out lately, but I mean.
Yeah, I do.
Window or draft or anything like that?
I do not. I can ask him. I'm not
Is that the new system?
Is that related to the new
Is that the new system?
I'll find that out, Joe. I don't want
There probably was a draft on the pipe someplace. Just takes a little draft.
Do they have any liability?
to. Probably not. I mean, that's, why you have insurance. So, and in the event that it was something, we couldn't pay for, we also have the insurance reserve that we could use.
Any more questions? Thanks, so.
Sure.
Next up, transportation, Rick,
How's everybody tonight?
how are you?
All right. So we're working on a number of things in the office, not the least of which is the budget. So we're crunching some numbers and taking a look at it, and we're seeing some increases, just like everybody else is buying milk and eggs. We're seeing transportation parts and some of our other budget codes go up, in some cases substantially. For instance, about a year and a half ago, I think we actually had a delivery that we paid 99 cents a gallon for gas. And today we're in the 240, 250 range. So I'm doing a little research to see what all the pundits say about what's going to happen next year. Doesn't sound like it's going down real quick. But they say that it may go up some more and then come back down a touch and level off. So that's kind of what we're going to go with. I'll give you more information when we actually present the budget, but we're looking real close at it. The other thing we're looking at between Civil, John, Nick, and myself is the concept of the community bus, which Queensbury had done. We had a conference with them the other day. And my part is to provide a bus, and then I'm going to back away.
I love this idea, by the way.
So we brought this to the budget committee
Yeah,
about a
this
little
is
over a
great.
month ago as a possible budget initiative. And then we talked about putting it in the American Rescue Plan grant that has been approved. So we can do this project through the grant and it will have no tax impact. So as Rick said, we kind of jumped on a call with Queensbury and got the nuts and bolts of what we needed to move forward. And then they got a lot of input from students about how they wanted this bus to look. So talked with Sandra the other day, and she's going to spearhead getting that feedback from students and our CTE classes
I love that.
to really help us
Yeah.
bring this project to life. So I just asked Rick to talk to you about what he has for a bus and, just see if we're all on the same page.
What's it for?
All kinds of activities. Some school districts are using them for primarily science and technology related activities, but Queensbury's vision was similar to what we think ours is, in that they take the bus out into the community to parks in the summertime, Little League games, ways to engage families who might not otherwise come to school or be part of their kids' academic experience here. So that's some of the feedback that we'll get from the kids. What do you want to see on the bus? Certainly we can provide technology, but Queensbury has a lot of different robots and different kinds of games. Some of the ideas that John Dodds has had is that we could use it for a movie night on campus. We could even put all the jazz band instruments in it and send it into the winter walk in December. So we have a lot of ideas, but it's something that does not have to stay here. It can go out in the community. And that'll be Rick's job, is making it safe for us to do that.
And Rick is gonna drive it, or?
Well, I'm hoping we can set this up that any one of you could drive it.
Thanks, Rick.
Even Sandra. We'll take a look at that. There's a lot of changes that have to happen to the bus. It's no longer a bus. And it's no longer covered under DOT because there's no extra seats in it to haul anybody around, just the driver. So there may be a way to do this so that you do not have to have a CDL to drive the bus.
Right, I got a toilet that we never put in ours that we went to renovate, so if you need a toilet.
Okay.
We haven't talked about a bathroom.
Yeah.
So you probably don't want to use one of the buses that I have slated for trade-in, because that is counterproductive in a sense that you're going to put all this money into and technology into it. You want something that's going to last for a while. So having said that, I have two buses of different configuration that we could use for that, but either one would have to be replaced. by something that could take their place in the front line. Yeah, those have got a lot of rust problems, and they just they wouldn't qualify. It wouldn't satisfy the investment, in my opinion. I have a 2019, one of our newer buses that has 50,000 miles on it already, that has carriers underneath the bus. So that configuration is desirable if you're going to put a generator on the bus, or if, like this unit did, we can put these thin curved solar panels on the top of the bus. Those compartments underneath the bus could be used to house the batteries. All right, so that's one idea, one configuration, and that's a 72 passenger bus, so it has the length, the extra length. The other bus is a 2016 Bluebird bus that's out in the lot that we also use on the front line. That does not have carriers underneath it. That has a few more miles on it, but that would be something that's also a 72 passenger that could be used. So, but we talked with Queensbury about how they went through and did it. They took all the seats out, and I think they took most of the windows out.
Yeah.
But that one picture I just saw up on there looked like maybe they kept the windows in one side.
About every fourth one.
Yeah, so, and they just covered it up with 16 gauge steel and welded them in place. So that kind of work is something that we might be able to do some of it here.
So if we take one of those buses off the line to do
That's what I
this,
was just gonna ask.
we would need to replace it. So we had discussed with you the need for 3 72 passenger buses in the 22-23 budget anyway, at the budget committee meeting. But we can maybe do one of two things. We could up that number to 4, pay for it with cash, or I could try and put the purchase of an additional bus in the grant, in the American Rescue Plan grant, depending on what your thoughts are about that.
Would you want to look at used buses in other districts, or look around, shop around to buy another used bus, or?
I could do that. I mean, most districts do what we do and try to get the most out of it, but I could do a quick search. That's not an issue.
Anyone have
With
any-
taking something that we know we have, we just like buying a used car, we know what we have.
Don't buy one with a max force in it.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, I'm okay. Paying cash for it.
I can still look
Grant
into
something
this.
else.
Yeah, I can still look into the grant option. You know, it's not a decision that has to be made tonight, but we just wanted to bring it to you. for your consideration.
Yeah, but, all right.
What's that, Ron?
I'm looking for the grant option.
The grant, okay. Okay, all right, I'll find out if we can do that.
Oh, I'm sorry, hang on, Dave, I turned you down because there was such an echo. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would have a question, because
Okay.
I like to agree that, pursuing grant would make sense. But when would we know if it's approved? And would that delay the possibility of getting this bus done sooner rather than later?
That's a good
That's
question.
kind of where I was, my thought process was too, Dave.
Our initial application has been approved, so at this point, we would be making amendments. Those do take some time, but not a lot of time. So I don't think it would hold it up if it is approved.
So it's something we would know definitively during the budgeting process.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, then certainly if we can get a grant to pay for it, that's something I would encourage.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. I'm gonna turn you back down because you're just very echoey. Okay. All right, anybody got any other questions? All right, next up, technology, John Dodds.
Joyce was speaking last. Everything's kind of been covered. I got the same issues as Mr. Vbrock budget, and I'm trying to actually buy computers now so that I have them for summer. and I'm having a very hard time getting what I want. So,
I can imagine.
after that, everything's been covered, so I'll answer any questions.
Anybody got questions for John? Okay, next up is cafeteria. Pam's not here, but she did leave food in the refrigerator.
Smart girl.
I'm okay.
Okay, next up is the student liaison report, Madeline Dennis. Hi, Madeline.
Good evening, everybody. So first thing, more seniors are starting to hear back from their colleges, so it's very exciting. And also 2 more seniors have committed to their #1 choice, so I'm very happy to announce all of that. We also have the National Honor Society induction ceremony next Tuesday. I believe it is 6 or 6:30, so all the seniors are very excited to be getting the juniors starting to involve in National Honor Society, and start learning how to proceed with that throughout their high school career. So a lot of students are frustrated with a grading policy that is in place in PE. So they have it set that you receive a 0 every 3rd absent every quarter, and that frustrates a lot of students. Classmates that have legitimate excuses as to why they were not in school and are getting a 0 for something that is out of their control. Speaking of a junior, she told me that she was quarantined and received a 0 from the day that she was absent, which she didn't understand why she was receiving a 0 for that. Another student had a stomach bug and missed the day that she had PE, and again, that was her 3rd absence, so she received a 0. That brought her grade down 9 points, and now PE is her lowest grade. This policy is bringing down many students' averages, and when I asked the teacher about this, she explained why it exists. And she told me that it's for students who might show up to gym class maybe 1 or 2 days a quarter, skip the rest of the gym classes to be absent in school, and therefore, like, that doesn't affect their average as much. So she said it's not fair to students who are there. However, for students who actively participate and show their dedication, then they do have PE and are participating and are more than often in school, or more in school than not, they should not be penalized for this. And finally, when talking to classmates over the past week or so, one common topic was coming up. The bathroom situation is becoming an issue. So students are frustrated that it's common for only one bathroom to be open at a time. It makes it incredibly difficult to actually use the bathrooms because we have to try and track down which one is open. This extra time spent trying to locate the unlocked bathroom eats into our class time, and then teachers in turn get frustrated when we're gone for extended periods of time, when we're like, we had to go to 3 different bathrooms to try to find the open one. I understand the situations that cause me to only allow one bathroom to be open, including vaping and vandalism. However, having only one bathroom open to a large number of people in a single bathroom at a given time, which is not good, especially with an increase in COVID cases. And if the administration feels it would continue to be beneficial to have one bathroom open, if it makes sense, would it be possible to put on the morning announcements which bathroom would be open and operational for that day? And that would give a lot of time and get rid of some of the frustration among students. And that is it. Thank you.
Is there still an issue with the TikTok damage?
No, that was short term, but recently there was some pretty good damage done to a couple bathroom doors that seemed to be unrelated to that. And as Maddie said, vaping has been a continual problem, but in no way do we want to restrict the bathrooms. That was a short period of time where there was actually 2 bathrooms, not one that was open. We still have one on the upstairs. It's predominantly 7th and 8th grade. Our nurse's bathroom is always available. It was a kind of a different situation for about 2 days, but we intend on having all of them open, and it's a constant struggle to stop the vaping. We have vape detectors to stop that. We have people on whole duty, but our whole duty people are being asked to cover so many different classes right now. It's just kind of the perfect storm for it, and you know, we don't want the students to suffer like that. We know there's lineups and cleanliness issues, and you know, working with Nick staff, we'll continue to try and make sure that as many bathrooms can be open already.
That's not unreasonable if they are gonna close them, to tell which ones are open. That's really not a bad idea.
When we closed them, I did send an email to all teachers to let them know which bathrooms are open. And sometimes when the vape detectors go off, we usually lock the bathroom so that it clears out, because even though there might be, someone might vape, it might be still left over, there's still might be left over, so the
Right.
detector will keep going. So when you close it, it clears out the bathroom so that we don't have to continue manual reading. So, but there is a email that was sent every morning. I believe all of the bathrooms are open except for one now currently.
Okay.
When you close it after the phase detector goes off, how long is it locked?
Usually, it's usually the full day, just to clear it out so that we don't continuously get the readings. It does take a while for it to clear out.
That's crazy.
But we also have not just vape detectors, but also vandal detectors. And we've had a problem with one bathroom in particular that's been resolved, where there's been damage to the wall, which has been resolved and taken care of.
Do you have any idea of who's committing
Yes.
these,
And it's incredibly frustrating that these students can't, for lack of a better term, just grow up. And just, when they have to use the bathroom, just go in the bathroom to use the bathroom. Because then they ruin it for everybody else who just wants to be able to
I
go to the
agree.
bathroom and not have to deal with walking it and seeing stuff, and you're just like, why?
Very
It's
frustrating.
it's
It's very frustrating, Matt.
And I don't know this group, I know it's all grade levels, like doing it, but I know seniors, seniors automatically assume underclassmen. So which I don't know if it is, I don't know. If people do it.
Not that I'm making light of this, but wait till you out of here. You're gonna see lots of things.
but if you know who's doing it and you can catch them or get them, what happens?
Well, we only have certain things at our disposal, right? So we have detention, in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension. But we have been very vigilant about getting estimates on how much it will cost. So parents absorb the cost of a lot of these repairs, or all of the repairs. So like, for instance, if there's a hole in the wall, we figure out who's done it. We have Nick Smith come up with a purchase order. We give that purchase order to the parents, and the parents are responsible, and the kids are responsible for paying for that damage. So, these are the ways that we kind of, it's kind of a challenge, but it's certainly, when it hits them in the pocketbook, it really makes a difference too.
Oh, sure.
There's been a few bills that have been sent home to parents for damage this year. It is, we can know who did it and have a real good idea who's in there, but when you have multiple students in there, it's difficult to pin it on one person and make a bill like that stick. But,
Do the other students know who's doing all the work?
Sometimes people will post about it on social media. So,
TikTok.
not even
Maybe,
yeah, some people, like I never know about who's doing it because I just stay away from anything like that. I just stick to, going to my classes and doing my work. I don't pay attention to that, but we usually will find out once they get in trouble, because then they're talking about it, and then word gets around that that was the person who did
And I
it.
assume it's boys and girls. males and females.
So.
Yeah, it's very, it's not just the boys, not just the girls, it's very mixed.
Well, sorry that you're experiencing that. with your classmates. Grading policy, I'm not sure. I'm on the policy committee. Maybe I'll just take a look and don't see what happens. Okay? Thank you, Matt. All right, we have no old business. We have new business. So, simple Chronic Hills Model UN Club members and students to attend the Model UN Conference in Boston, Mass. From February 4th to February 6th. Can I have a motion, please? Joe, second. Carrie, any questions on that? All in favor? Thanks. Next, we have the approval of the merger with Hawthorne Valley for baseball, the modified JV and varsity teams. Can I have a motion, please? Bill, second. Joe, any questions on that?
Yeah, just want to make sure, I know I've asked about this sports before, but no Peconic Hills kid gets cut because of a Hawthorne Valley kid making it correct.
We struggle with numbers a great deal. This helps us.
That's fine. I
Yeah.
want to make sure that not one Peconic Hills kid gets cut,
Yes, that is a priority.
to fit in somebody else.
That's, Ron, that's the same answer that I've heard from Angela all along.
Yes.
That's that it's
So it
never
could
gonna
end up,
happen.
so it could end up that only kind of kills people on teams if there's enough kind of kills people.
That's what we're saying.
I think they don't cut anybody. I think that's kind of what they did.
We've had trouble fielding JV teams in baseball recently. This is something that will certainly help out to have more kids available.
I'm all in favor of the best kid playing.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure every County Kill kid that wants to play can play.
All in favor? Thank you. So we have approval of disposal of various library books. Can I have a motion, please? Oh, wait. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. Approval of transportation from Taconic Hills to Catamount Mountain Resort on various dates during the 2021-2022 winter season for the elementary school ski club members. Motion, please. Terry, second. Heidi, any questions? All in favor?
We booked it now.
Okay. Next, approval of disposal of various library books. Can I have a motion, please? Motion? Yeah.
No.
Phil?
Another thing I hate, another pet peeve of mine.
You don't like, yeah.
All right, any questions? All in favor? I know.
I have every time.
Next, I have approval of the following donations. We have 43 novels, new novels from Tanya Fricky to supply the book vending machine that she talked about at the last meeting, which is a great idea. Can I have a motion, please? Joe, second. Bill? Any questions? All in favor? Thanks, Dave. All right, the next step is the adoption of, I'm not reading all of them, this is the adoption of the State of New York Deferred Compensation Plan. Can I have a motion, please? Carrie, second. Alicia, questions?
No, thank you for your explanation in layman's terms. I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Does the school have any type of compensation plan now or not?
We also offer a 403B plan, yes.
All in favor? All right, next is the big one, funding the bond resolution of Taconic Hill Central School as Curryville District dated January 19, 2022, authorizing the refunding of all or portion of certain outstanding serial bonds, stating the plan of refunding, authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $8,100,000 refunding bonds and determining other matters in connection therewith. Motion, please. Joe, second. John, any questions? All in favor? Okay. Is there anyone for the second public forum?
No.
So I've got a couple of additional items to discuss before we go into executive session. So, let's see. This. So our board retreat, our mid-year evaluation was canceled last month because it was just crazy going on here, or actually the beginning of this month. So we have a workshop scheduled for February 2nd. So in place of that workshop, I'd like to do this retreat / evaluation. Are all of you good with that February 2nd date?
What day is that?
It's a Wednesday.
What time?
It would be 6. We need some food. I'd like us to go over this. Every year we have this evaluation at the end of the year. We're racing through this and we don't really have accurate information or data that we're looking at. So this is an opportunity for us to go through the evaluation, ask questions, like where do we get this data from? And then we get the data that we need for the June evaluation, just so it's just gonna be a better evaluation, I think. If we do a mid-year one, it just gives us a midway point and we can go from there. So is February 2nd, good for you guys? Okay. So Ashley will add that to the calendar. I know Terry had asked about, I'll let you talk about the sheriff.
Yeah.
I did talk to Neil about it, I thought that was a great idea.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Will we do that in a workshop or have them come present to the, at a
Yeah, board meeting, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just, I was thinking the other day that, I thought it would be a good idea for the new sheriff in town to come and just introduce himself and the under sheriff and speak to the group and talk about his plans moving forward with the DARE program and the school resource, deputies and what he's thinking about moving forward with emergency management and so forth. So
No, I think it's a great idea. Good. The last thing I have is the NISBA conference in California. So, with COVID going on, the last date that we can cancel this without losing any money is February 18th. So at that point, there were 4 of us that are going. So at that point, we'll have to decide whether you're going or not going. But that's the last date that we can cancel without, and the registration is $800 a person. So we definitely don't want to lose out on that. Okay, so, we'll get back to you before the 18th. Hopefully numbers are going down. We only pray. And that's all that I have for additional items to discuss. Does anyone else have anything else? All right, so now I need a motion to go into executive session for contract negotiations with Clint Fisher, a particular person. Ron, second? Second? Joe? All in favor? Thank you, everyone. Good night. Jen, if you could just